Hello and welcome to my craft room. Today we are completing 2 more pages in the Vintage Victorian Shabby Winter Journal by a Jewel Design. And we will cover stenciling and a fun tuck design that I came up with. And it'll be fun. You'll love this tuck design. We're doing a tone on tone here, and I'm using pieces of doily. This was from a previous video where I had used a die cut and stenciled through it, and this was the piece that I had left, and I'm going to use it on this doily. I have a Believe dictionary page from a Jewel Designs page. She has a set of those. I have a Believe stamp, which is an old one, and I'm going to put it on here somewhere. And I'm using this Tim Holtz, it's called Scribbles layering stencil, but it's roses. And I thought that would be very pretty to put on here. And I've got to find where I can, it said it's layering, so I'm supposed to be able to find another place to be able to go and keep going across the page. So hang on, let me find it. Well, I'm sorry, I just cannot figure out where the rest of this is supposed to continue, so I'm going to fudge it and just keep going. I'll do it just like this and hope they kind of match up. And if they don't, we can slap a snowflake on it. That's what I was doing before, hiding all my imperfections with snowflakes. Okay. I don't think I can see a difference there, so we're going to go with it. Okay, so what I want to do now is take me an extra piece of paper, because I'm going to pour this on top of it. This is my clear embossing powder, and we're going to see if we can roll it around and get it to stick to all the parts that we want it to. Ooh, it's heavy. Oop, I didn't get a little bit right there. There we go. It's going there like that. Doesn't look like it's sticking there in the middle, but it could be. All right. Let me get this back in the pot. All right. And we're going to heat emboss it with my gun. I always put my hand in front of it to see if it's warm. There we go. Let's see if it's working. And it usually will deepen the color, so that's when you can kind of tell. It also gets glistening. I must have waited too long for this first batch. We're going to go back over it with some more ink. I didn't think it dried that fast. At least I've never found that to be the problem before. I was looking for the overlap there, but never could find it. Okay. Let's try some more of this. Some of my inks I've had a little while. They probably need some re-inkers added to them. They're not as juicy as they used to be. Okay. There. That ought to do the trick. Let's go back in with our... Oh, forgot my paper. And I'm being careful, but this stuff still gets everywhere. What is it people say about glitter? It's probably they'd say the same about embossing powder. Okay. And always be diligent about pouring it back in your pot. A little cup. Yeah, it's all over. There's no hope. All right, and once you get the embossing powder on there, you do have a few minutes that you don't have to rush. So let's get it going again. There we go. Oh yeah, it's turning it now. At least where it's stuck. All right. Now I'm going to use the embossing pen. You usually can get a set of a black and a white one or clear one. So I'm going to use this and go back in, and I'm adding a little bit of gold. I'm going to just try to keep my gold going that's been put into other pages, and hope this keeps my theme alive, since this was mostly a tonal and tone page. And you just place it wherever you feel like it. I'm not doing a whole lot of it, just a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to pour some of our gold on here and roll it around and see where it catches. I wanted to say thank you for spending some of your time with me today. And I hope that all of you are well and happy. I know usually when I watch videos and stuff, that kind of cheers me up, and you can get away and pretend, you know, get away from the troubles of the day and just enjoy yourself. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Or did I go wrong? This will go, oh yeah, really gold. Okay, that's different. Oh, I'm going to be sweeping this off for weeks. Okay, now we're going to go over here and get into getting our doily down. And I'm going to get to gluing that, and I'll be right back. Okay, we have that down. Now we're going to figure out where to put our snowflake and that, and the believe. Maybe the believe can go up here. That would be nice, since this is the binding over here, so part of that's going to get lost. I didn't even think about that when I was putting that down. So we're just going to do a stamp with Victorian velvet. And since our definition has believe, we're going with believe up here. Okay, there we go. Has a very pretty stamp. I love it because it's so scrolly. All right, I'm going to try to get in here. I don't know how hard it's going to be to glue this, because it wants to go its own direction. I didn't cut enough of a circle to give it much stability. I was trying to get both of them out of there, where I'd use two for my my stenciling with my glitter paste, but it didn't work. I cut part of the other one off. I know, shame on me. All right, let's see what we can do here. Get that as close as possible. There we go. Oh, no. Now, if this glitter paste or any kind of other stuff is sticky, you can go over it with your little cornstarch bag. It's usually used with your embossing, but you could go over it like that, and that really tones down the stickiness. So I've done that a couple times on it, but it must have needed another time. So here is this. Go on here real quick. This page is about done. There we go. Push that in. And there's all she wrote. Our tonal and totem page with a little bit of gold. And this here is like maroon, so it sort of goes with the same tones. Okay, on the next page, we're doing a snowman tuck. And this is what it looks like. If I can find it. There he is. In my book. This is my winter journal. And I had to go and redraw this because, of course, you know, I don't think ahead that I'm going to actually share this with anybody. It's just some of my little coming up with that I piddled with along the way last year. So I had to draw it out. There he is. And what I had to do is I had to do three copies of this to do each layer. So that's what we're going to go with right now. Okay, here's what I had to do. I had to cut 3 layers. The first layer is this, I'm going with a gold layer to go with my color. And then the pink layer is next, and that will go on top of the gold layer. So it's just going to match up here on this corner. And then you're just going to see a hint of the gold. You don't need to see too much of it. So I'm going to get in here and put my glue on the back side. This is more of that paper I was talking about in my first episode. That's from Michael's, but it's sort of plastic. It's not an actual cardstock. And it takes ink a little bit, but not very much. So I didn't have much use for it. And I decided to use it as the base of my pages. I'm recycling. That's what I considered it, recycling. Because it was not being used for anything. All right. Get that in there right. Line it up on my edge. There we go. As you can see, I have my gold showing. It can glisten. All right. Now the next page or part, not page, is this. And I had some scraps left over, of course. And the one scrap is this very first page that I had that I said was homemade paper. And it looks just like snow. See all the wrinkles in it? It's perfect for this. Okay, so I'm putting that here. I've got his head. I've already put his nose on here. And all these little black spots. And here's the snow underneath of him. And all these little black spots are from Hobby Lobby. They are the Paper Studio. And I'm using these. Now for his mouth, I couldn't do that because his little mouth was so small. It was smaller than the eyeball. And I couldn't see putting those big ones on his little lips. So we're going to go ahead and start gluing this down. Let me look at my first one here, my template. So I'm going to be gluing up to this corner. and on out. Go along the bottom. I'm putting a little extra glue on here because this is some thick stuff. Pretty thick. There we go. And now he is almost touching the bottom piece, but not quite. In my original one, I used some embossing powder that was, it was white, and then it has some glitter, silver glitter in it. That really looked really good on here. But our color is gold for this book, so we got to go with gold. Alright, now his little head. And the tuck's almost done. I just have to find him a scarf. I didn't pick one out yet. Okay. Here is his head. Oh, I should have put a little glue under his nose, though, so he could stick down to that yellow, pink. There we go. Okay, I had to search for a scarf for him. And this is the closest pink I could get. It's got a little bit of fuchsia or puce or some kind of color in it, but we're going to go with it. Tie it around his neck. And then you can tie it in a knot if you need to. There we go. We can't have him without a scarf. And I'm going to cut this odd dog leg one off. We don't need that. Okay. So now what he's going to do is he's going to go down on the paper. And this is our page we just did. Now we're going over to this side. This part goes into the spine of the book. And we're going to put him right here against it. And then you're going to want to go down to the base. And then your tuck is right there. I do see where some of that came through, since this is just cheap copy paper. And what we might do is put a little bit of paper in behind there. Okay, I had this piece extra that I hadn't used from the kit. And I'm going to take and do me a little ripping. And I'm going to rip it back and forth. Each way you rip it, you get a different thing. Like you'll have the white showing or the background showing. Let's see if I can keep this going. There we go. All right. I was going to try to show you. See, sometimes you have the white pith showing, and then sometimes you just have the background itself showing. And we're not going to worry about any inking this. We just wanted this nice, pretty pale color. So we'll glue our background down on here. Okay. Now, I'm going to tuck him down underneath here just a tad. There we go. I'll put this back so I can tell. I can still feel that grit from the embossing powder. It's everywhere. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go down. And this I've got this metallic, foil kind of paper, and it has this cardstock background on it, so it's really nice and sturdy. I really love it. I've got it in all kinds of different shades. It really looks beautiful when you do the snowflakes in that. Die cutting them. Okay, trying to get flat and straight. There we go. And if you need to, you can always put a little bit of glue in here to try to hold your tie together so he doesn't come undone. There we go. Might shorten it here. I don't need it to be quite that long. All right, our little snowflake tuck, or snowman tuck, is done. And see, you would tuck something right underneath of there. When I was first doing this, I wanted to do a snow bank, I thought. But what happened? A snowman came out of it. But I was happy with what I got. He's very cute. Now this is the next page, but it was basically done. All I did was I put this beautiful little girl that I put in the window in the earlier video here. She's here. And then I had a piece here. And then I needed another piece over here so it went at least up to the spine. And then this deer I cut off of the bottom of another one. And I just added him on there so he would be with the female deer. I love this little girl. She's so nostalgic looking. But you can barely see a little white line right there. But this I had to cover up. So this girl, I have her backed, and she's going to go into the little tuck there on the edge. I think my stage fright is kicking in today. I don't know why. Oh, I stutter over words. That kind of thing. All right. I think that's pretty. It's like they're out playing in the snow together. Okay, on the back side here, I have a plan for something very simple. It is some die cut trees from Tim Holtz, and I did a 1.5 inch cut, and I made it a moon. So we're just going to come down here and put those on. Now I have this from an earlier page that I did, and what we're going to do is make us some pink snowflakes. First we're going to put down our moon and our trees. I like the pattern. It's got a pattern on one side, like a grid design. Okay. Put that right up here. Some pages you just don't need that much on them. I mean, you're still wanting somebody to write on them, but you don't want to, I guess, bombard the senses. Is that it? A lot of people like the simple look. And this is my ode to the simple look. I try not to be too ambitious on some pages, but some of them they just like to get away from you. You don't have control. You just want to keep adding and adding because you're having so much fun. Okay. All right. This is kind of like doing the snowflakes. There's so many little pieces and parts to it. All right. Down we go. I want it to be just a little above the edge there. so they can see the inked edge design. Okay. Now for the snowflakes. Got 3 little snowflakes, and there's actually die cuts here if I wanted to put those down. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all 3 of them on the same stamp block. I'm going to do them all at the same time. Ooh. Let's see how well these come out. All right. Maybe like that. Try not to be too uniform with it. Oh yeah, that turns out nice. Oops, let me put a few more down. Don't need to keep putting that lid back on there. I want to do several more. And these can easily be written through, so they're not going to stand in the way of that at all for journaling. And this really dark edge here really adds to it. Okay. I kind of like it at an angle like that, so I'm leaving it there. And there we go. That's all we're going to put on that page. It's totally complete. And to see a flip through featuring my Snowman Tuck, see this video and other great ideas that's in the winter journal I just showed you at the beginning. I would like to thank everybody for coming and visiting, and everybody have a great day.